I'm a bad motherfucker.
US is forcing Ireland and UK to push through anti-free speech laws because it would force US companies based in Europe to change their algorithms impacting free speech in the US. It is a way around the First Amendment mod.
Oh, yeah.
Jimmy, how do you take care of your body with so much travel? Do you have travel?
Cocoa butter.
Cocoa butter. Hey, Jimmy, have you heard of... Oh, I read that one. No stir. All right. JD... Seaweed, how about tips on picking up a hot, smart, funny babe like Steph? Seaweed, took years. It took years. I was shy. That's what it comes down to. All right, here we go. Next one. Hey, Kerp, Steph, and Jimmy, get the Duran on to discuss this. They have very interesting and compelling explanation for Macron calling an election. You're right. We have to. You're the second person that's brought that up. Thank you, Melise.
Well, I thought he wants to get it over with so he can spend more time with his lovely wife who had sex with him when he was an underage boy at school.
Right.
His teacher who was married and in her 40s.
Yikes. Sparky63, make Ukraine Russia again. Don't even leave a patch called Ukraine, lest it remain NATO, playground, carpetbagger, money laundry, and becomes a Black Rock property. Sparky63. All right. I read that. I think it's not about God. It's about treating children the way we want to be treated instead of like slaves or punching bags. You want a healthy society? Pay attention to how children are treated. Hannister. Thank you for that, Hannister. If you had Trump on, would you have the balls to call him out on his support of Zionists?
Oh no, I would totally puss out. That's why I would bring him on, so everybody could see me be a pussy. That's why I would bring him on.
Yeah, because Eosh goes on to say because you didn't call out RFK Jr.
I fucking did. Again,
you should watch.
You're really the time you watch and you didn't look into it any further, dipshit.
Yeah. Okay. Of course I did. Of course I got him to admit that Israel is an apartheid state. That every human rights organization says that Israel's an apartheid state. I showed him pictures of war crimes. I said, of course they bomb innocent people. I've covered it on my show. Of course I did. So there's this false narrative out there that I didn't confront. And then I did a whole hour with Max Blumenthal pointing out everything because he was saying...
That's not enough, Jimmy. That's not enough.
I know. So
I think people just say stuff to get a thing going. I don't believe
yes. So, but that's a very popular meme that somehow I didn't... And because I was more animated with Cornel West than I was at RFK. You know why? Because I wasn't backing RFK Jr. because he was running as a Democrat when he came on my show. And I told him that it was a fool's errand and he's not going to get the nomination. So it's a waste of time. So I didn't get emotionally invested in RFK Jr.'s campaign like I was in Cornel West's.
I think whoever.
And so I was addressing Cornel West as a supporter. I was addressing RFK Jr. as a guy who's on a fool's errand. Those are two different, and so people have so anyway.
Whoever you're talking to is not going to get it.
But this idea that I didn't, the fucking idiot over at said the same shit. Anyway, but that's very popular. That's not what happened. And if you don't see the difference between me interviewing Cornel West and RFK Jr., then there's nothing I can say that's going to convince you. You just want to be that way, and. That's the difference between when I'm emotionally invested in someone's campaign and when I'm not. I wasn't invested in RFK Jr.'s campaign. Yeah. He was a Democrat at the time. I told him it was no point in being invested in because they're never going to give him. Then later he went on and became an independent, but it was after October 7th, and that's a moral line I can't cross.
Listen, stop believing in the election, by the way, chumps.
Yeah, it's another thing.
What are you, all idiots? We're Cornel West, you were mean to... I don't believe... I don't buy it.
It's another thing.
I don't buy these criticisms. I think they're lies. I don't believe anyone's that dumb. If they are that dumb, I don't see what you could say that would fix that. I just don't.
Overstuff.
Okay, here you go. When you have Trump on, be sure to point out that the Skripal poisoning and Syrian gas attacks were hoaxes, so he knows not to listen to the CIA and assorted neocons who form a cocoon around him. Sparky63.
I think if he didn't learn that by now, there's nothing you could do to make him learn that. He must have learned it by now, or he will never.
I misspelled my last post. It's Bixware from roadtoruta.com. Thank you, Hart. Look into red heifer prophecy. All steps are being taken to fulfill it. This includes the Jews destroying the Temple Mount, which is the fourth most holy Muslim site in the world. You're sold out. You're sold out. Thank you so much.
God,
Thank you so much. Here we go.
heifer.
Rocket Mummy. Thank you very much, Rocket Mummy. Steph, say my name. Safe and effective. James, let's help them win a war. We can't afford to lose. Fuck Lindsey Graham. I would rather burn the money and piss on the ashes and then give it to foreigners. America first. Gotcha, James. All right. Jimmy, thank you for all the great people on your show. Biden may not like you, but we do. GDNPB, WAPO has proof the gray zone is run by Vulcans. Later this week, they'll be releasing a picture of Aaron before his ear job and why he gets the Spock haircut, ? GDNPB.
But they would be pro-Vulcan, I feel like. There's the only thing wrong with that. He does have a Spock haircut. That's a very good point. And his dad reminds me of Spock's dad. So that's a great point. But I don't think they'd go at a Vulcan like that.
Sandra challenges you, Kurt. Jimmy said he'd interview an exorcist. I'm not going on your beliefs like you always do on ours. #respect. Sandra, no need to feel
it is a Catholic
at all
thing.
in an argument with our team here. Okay. We get a lot of recommendations for a lot of guests all the time. Here we go. Hey, Sky is Island. Hey, Jimmy, I'm concerned about Caitlin Johnston's voice. She supported everything during the 2020 era, which destroyed the regular people. Please review that era and see she supported those measures. Sky is Island. Thank you, Sky is Island. ATACMs were used on June 7th by Ukrainians on Russian Federation land 2022 in the city of Luhansk. 3 killed, 35 injured, mainly civilians. 5 were launched, 4 taken down by Russian defenses. All right. That's interesting info. Hold on. All right, here we go.
You know, Jesus is God, which I believe the Holy Trinity says, does it not?
That's right, the Trinity.
That would mean that God impregnated Mary with himself and he had sex with his own mother.
It was an immaculate conception.
That's not immaculate. It sounds like incest.
All right, I disagree, but back to Steph.
Okay, ready?
Back to Jimmy.
So this is amazing. Here's Bill Maher with the good progressive. He's with the good progressive Matt Duss, who I think it was Bernie Sanders' foreign policy advisor, sitting and nodding along saying Palestinians are all pedophiles.
Wow. People are saying wherever you go.
This is coming from a Zionist as he's defending Israel, which is literally a safe haven for pedophiles, and gives them honorary awards.
Oh, name one time.
You ready for this? Here we are.
Because values and customs make a difference, okay? And the people of Gaza, by the way, if the Israelis did get rid of Hamas, they'd be doing a giant favor to the people of Gaza.
And we all know that the best way to deliver a favor is through the front end of a missile. Right, Kurt? Come on. I mean, what a favor, getting rid of Hamas. Not as big as a favor of not creating and paying for Hamas on purpose or not keeping Gazans in a concentration camp, but still it's a huge favor.
For the surviving Gazans, they should view it as a favor, yes. Hey, thanks for putting your cigarette out in my brother's neck, America and Israel. Did they thank us for our service yet?
Wow. Okay, here we go. Let's do it again.
Because values and customs make a difference, okay? And the people of Gaza, by the way, if the Israelis did get rid of Hamas, they'd be doing a giant favor to the people of Gaza who hate Hamas too. But let's just go through the lists. Because the Israelis look like us in most ways, values-wise.
Boy, they look like us in most ways, value-wise. Hey, you should have just stopped at they look like us. Mighty white of him to add that last part, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, but yet they still bomb the U.S. liberty, even though we look so alike.
Did this guy start? Anyway, here we go.
Maybe we're not doing it the right way. I don't know. Religious time.
Maybe we're not doing it the right way. No, real. You think? You think maybe we shouldn't be destroying other countries to defend the right of your smarmy ass to crack wise about Beverly Hills Whole Foods checkout lines?
Okay, he just did a thing about the Nickelodeon molester documentary about how there's a problem. Okay, and then he goes, Israel looks like us.
Been value-wise.
So what does that tell you, Bill? That the problem is real big there. Yeah, Epstein worked for Gaza. That's who Epstein worked for.
All right, let's
moron.
Because values and customs make a difference, okay? And the people of Gaza, by the way, if the Israelis did get rid of Hamas, they'd be doing a giant favor to the people of Gaza who hate Hamas too. But let's just go through the lists.
Boy, if they're so horrible, why do you think that the Israeli government, the Likud, and Benjamin Netanyahu made sure they were funded? Why do you think that is? No one ever asked that question, including those assholes sitting there on his panel. They'll never go, hey, why do you think that Benjamin Netanyahu, who's a psychopath and the world's terrorist, why do you think he funded them? Isn't it amazing they never bring that up, Kurt?
And also, how would you possibly get rid of Hamas, you moron? First of all, he's the one that looks down on Noah's Ark stories, right? Okay, fair enough. Are you that much of a stupid child? You just lived through 20 years of making fun of the last war on terror.
That's right.
And you know we can't get rid of the terrorists. We actually end up working with them.
Yeah.
So what in the fuck are you talking about? They would get rid of Hamas. How are they going to do that when they keep making more Hamases?
Maybe you stop occupying their land and stealing it from them. Maybe you stop locking them up without trial. Maybe you stop shooting their children. Maybe you stop doing all those things.
I bet that makes more Hamases even than paying them.
Really, honest to God, the last 23 years of the fucking war on terror, he's learned absolutely nothing.
He knows less now.
He knows less now than then.
Yeah. He's amazing.
Because the Israelis look like us in most ways, values-wise. Maybe we're not doing it the right way. I don't know. Religious tolerance. That doesn't exist in Gaza. You're either Muslim or an infidel, and you better be a Muslim. Female freedom. Free and fair elections, free speech.
By the way, free and fair elections. You know that 1 in 4 Palestinians has a legal right to vote in Israel elections?
Hey, do you know Israel's about to topple their leader for messing with their democracy? Remember that? Just before October 7th conveniently happened to save him from that?
Did you know that under Israeli law, Palestinian journalists can be held in what's called administrative detention without charge for up to 6 months? And that can be extended indefinitely.
And they kill Christians too, it turns out, which a bunch of people got mad at Tucker for having the guy from the Christian church there talking about them and their Noahide laws, which are a lot like Sharia law, believe it or not. They're called the Noahide law.
Yeah.
They don't have no constitution. No, they're not like us, actually. It sounds like a...
They're not like us.
I guess it's a Nazi thing in that way.
Free and fair election. It doesn't exist in Israel either. You know why? Because it's an apartheid ethno-theocracy with no constitution.
You're not allowed to take DNA tests there. Because someone might find out
you're not allowed. That's right.
Minkowski and something and not Netanyahu.
Here we go.
Gay rights. Can I just finish my list of
First of all, gay rights.
They almost beat Sacha Baron Cohen to death for dressing gay.
Did you know that gay marriage is not allowed in Israel?
Nor any civil marriage that isn't approved by a psychopathic, far-right, insane rabbi. There is no civil marriage. That was one of the things they were protesting.
And thanks to Israelis' blockade and bombing, you're permanently preventing Gaza's gays from ever getting to Fire Island. How are they ever supposed to nude sunbathe with a sexy casting assistant in West Hollywood if you're keeping that hot dick locked up in an open-air prison?
Whoa.
Because that's what they're doing. Okay, there's more. He's pedophilia.
Pedophilia, I'll put that under don't ask. Child brides and so.
Pedophilia. Wait, are you telling me Jeffrey Epstein was working for Gaza?
Child brides and such, you say? So there he was blackmailing people for Gaza and not for Mossad?
Didn't Bill say they look like us? And didn't Bill just do one of his new rules about Nickelodeon and their pedophile documentary in which he said we have a huge problem with child predators? Yeah. Yes, Israel looks like us, Bill. This is amazing. The memory holding he's doing. He just talked about it a week ago.
Hey, remember Afghanistan where our allies, the Northern Alliance, who were pederasts, and we trafficked boys to them, and soldiers who had a problem with it got dishonorably discharged, had their careers destroyed. They got PTSD from listening to our allies sexually assault children in the tent next to them, and they were told to shut up about it. So what are you talking about, Bill? Like, whenever it suits us, we do that.
What about massacring thousands of children, Bill? Is that one of our values, that it's okay to massacre 14,000 children? Is that also part of our values? Or even more, 36,000? It's just amazing, the squiggly line of morality with Bill Maher.
What equality of the sexes, I'll categorize that under don't make me fucking laugh.
Bill, you ever seen a frumka? That's a Jewish burqa. You know, the real crazies have their own version of burqas that they put the women in. It's called a frumka.
I love how equality of the sexes don't make me fucking laugh. Yes, much better to control a woman's womb with a 2,000-pound bomb you drop on them. Huh.
Yeah, I hope the Gazans are grateful for this.
So dropping 2,000-pound bombs on them is okay because they don't have equality of the sexes.
Well, I know here we don't have it because some women with dicks are way better than the other women.
That's right.
How do you even criticize that when the fun house that you live in here?
The fact that, you know, these people think that this is where they should be aligned with, that these are the values that you support.
But I guess, again, the value of here's what he says. The rest of the list is also deranged. Free speech, equal rights, gay rights, outright lies, as progressive Matt Duss laughs and nods along vile scumbag that he is. But pedophilia, Israel is literally a pedophile rape cult masquerading as a society.
I mean, so are we. I don't want to hit out too hard.
You want to know how I can say this? Israel's becoming safe haven for pedophiles with laws that allow any Jews to legally return. Activists claim. This from The Independent. Also, the Times of Israel says many accused Jewish pedophiles in the United States flee to Israel. Here's CBS News. How Jewish American pedophiles hide from justice in Israel. You're projecting pedophilia onto Palestinians as a Zionist? That's what Bill Maher is doing as Matt Duss laughs and nods along. The Israeli parliament just gave an honorary award to a pedophile gang rapist pop star who has the number one hit in the country. This guy, Eli Golan, the Israeli Zionist arrested for gang raping and trafficking children with his father, came out with the song Amai Yisrael Chai 6 months ago, which became a viral hit in Israel. And he regularly does events with top politicians and the military. A pedophile gang rapist.
Jeez.
But Bill's going to judge the people of Gaza because their value. And so that's why it's okay to slaughter their children.
He talks to Bibi on the phone, so that's probably what Bibi told.
That's amazing.
He's friends with them like that. So that's why he doesn't know anything. And he's friends with the head psycho. Bibi, by the way, when they go, oh, it's American evangelicals that want this final battle. Yeah, there's also a very strong Zionist group. That's the book of Daniel is their book of Revelation. And it turns out Bibi, whose name again is not Netanyahu.
It's not Netanyahu.
It's a fucking made up name.
His name is Polish with the ski at the end because he doesn't want you to know that he's from
Lubavitcher. He's in a cult.
Yeah.
And they're a messianic cult, just like the crazy Christian ones that people are apparently upset about. It's the same group.
How you can look at what Israel's doing in Gaza and the West Bank and what they've been doing since the what was it called? The Nakba. Talk about their culture. They did the Nakba. Also, the claim that Gaza under Hamas is some theocratic Taliban-like society is deranged. There are non-religious armed resistance factions like the PFLP operating in Gaza. There are Christians in Gaza with churches. Your precious Israel bombed them.
Well, I mean, killing other Christians in our supposedly Christian whatever country, that's a time-honored tradition going back to Iraq, going back to everywhere where we made it worse for Christians while pretending to be crusaders.
Here is Israeli army destroyed more than 200 archaeological sites in Gaza. The Israeli army destroyed more than 200 archaeological sites, ancient sites, out of 325 that were registered across the Gaza Strip in the course of its devastating onslaught since October 7th. The Gaza Media Office said that the sites included ancient churches, mosques, schools, museums, and other different historical and archaeological sites and monuments. The ancient and archaeological sites destroyed by the army date back to the Phoenician and Roman ages. Others date back between 800 BC and 1400, while others were built 400 years ago, it said in a statement. This is their culture. That's the Israeli culture. That's what they do to a place. That's what they did. Wow.
It's really hard to just like make me, after all the bullshit of the last 12 years, to try to lean on this like Islam's really bad though, right? Pull that shit now to try to cover over this is crazy. You got to be a very old rich man who only rents whores to his side house to think that way.
Here it is, Kurt. Israel drove suitcases stuffed with cash into Gaza to keep Hamas in power.
But it was a strategy, okay? So it failed. Okay. They're doing their best.
We'll see. Can you believe this is the only show like this in our culture? Bill Maher. He's supposed to be some kind of truth-telling comedian.
No, nobody's allowed. If you tell the truth about things, that's not being part of a team.
Right.
If you're not going to be on Team Woke, you better be Team Daily Wire. You get two choices in life, right? And you better go along with one, but you don't get to be unaffiliated, just telling the truth as you see it. You need protection from a larger entity. Shit, they'll pay Hamas. They'll suppress you and pay Hamas to exist.
That is quite a segment he did. That is wild.
It's just a drop in the bucket.
Look, we're better culture. That's his whole thing.
No, we're not.
His whole thing since 9/11 has been we're about him and Sam Harris.
9/11 happened because of our despicable culture.
They
on purpose.
They say how they have. Oh no, they have in the Quran yet that you could slaughter infidel. What do you think the United States Christian Army has been doing since 2001? Since before that, we've been going around. We set the Middle East on fire. We killed 1 million people in Iraq on a lie. Still, we have a better culture.
What do you think secular humanists do?
We took Libya, the most successful country in all of Africa. We slaughtered their people, killed their leader, turned it into a failed state, bombed their waterways with nuclear bombs, with depleted uranium, poisoning their water, and we turned it into slave markets.
Hey,
that's because we have a better culture, Bill. Look what we did in Syria. Same thing.
We did it for freedom.
Look what we did in Afghanistan for 20 years. Look what we're doing right now in Ukraine. Or he doesn't know what's going on in Ukraine. He doesn't know the real point of that war or how it started or what it's about or anything, because he reads the paper. He reads the Washington Post and the New York Times that is owned by the guy who's in bed with the CIA. Jeffrey Bezos has a $600 million contract with the CIA. Do you think that the Washington Post is telling you the truth about anything? Bill Maher does, and that's why he's allowed, just like Jon Stewart, they're allowed to have a show on legacy corporate media. That's why. Because if Jon Stewart for a second told you the truth about Ukraine, they would bounce his fucking ass, just like they would bounce his ass. The one time he told the truth, they fired Bill Maher from ABC. He said the terrorists weren't cowards because they were willing to give up their life.
You had a great joke. How come after Iraq, the only one who got fired was me, which I thought was a very accurate. Yeah, I'm totally on his side. That's weird. You couldn't say that one thing, but these people get everybody killed.
That's right.
And just keep doing it. And you haven't lost faith in the whole thing.
And he'll never tell the truth about another war ever.
Hey, by the way, do you know who? Remember they short on 9/11? Somebody short sold. They shorted. You know who that was? Deutsche Bank. It wasn't even the Jews. It was a German. In fact, the guy who used to work for the CIA, who runs Deutsche Bank, because I don't know if you know about the CIA, they say the OSS turned into it. Well, sort of. We had an OSS, and then they merged with the Nazis, the remaining Nazis. So the CIA, out of the gate, was a Nazi organization, and that's why our friends Israel probably don't like us and have to blackmail our leaders.
Yes.
And now it's become an utterly corrupt, like fascist and pervert pipeline to all the good jobs in the New World Order, whatever the hell they're doing. Don't trust none of these things.
And I think Bill, honestly, I don't think they are blackmailing Bill Maher. I think he really believes the shit he says. Him and Sam Harris.
Sam Harris is like a mindset. Anybody tell you there's no free will? That's because they don't have any.
That's right.
That's because they don't have it.
That's right.
And they desperately want it to be that way because then they're not responsible.
And then they're not responsible
for the vile things they're supporting. And it really takes a lot of the pressure off them, even though they're atheists and shouldn't care.
Right? Okay. How many is that?
10.
All right. Over to stuff. And that's it for today.
Are you going to do a locals or you want to do that another day?
I want to do that another day.
Okay.
Oh, I just realized, by the way,
what?
I made a mistake to Malcolm. On the 10th, on the 8th or Thursday through Saturday, I'm at Rick Bronson's in Bloomington, Minnesota.
Oh, no kidding. When is this?
This week?
This week, I can't remember.
Thursday?
Yeah, Thursday through Saturday. But go to KurtMetzgerComedy.com.
Maybe that's 12th through the 16th. Maybe, I don't know.
Oh, that's what it is. Okay. That's what it is.
Big baby, right?
Yeah, 12th through the 16th. I like these Bronson clubs. I make decent money.
That's great.
It's no mothership, but it's still pretty good.
Oh, really? Good.
People show up, yeah. Good times.
Yeah, we did the Bronson Club up in Edmonton. Eh?
Wow, what a great club!
That was a favorite. That was a fun
one
show.
Was fun. Phoenix is great. I really enjoyed the Phoenix one, and they said, well, I don't know if they said. Somebody told me like it looked like I got more people than I don't know.
Well, if I get a better deal, I'll jump. I mean, I like playing the Improv in Tempe, but if I get a better deal, I'll jump.
Well, before Kurt leaves, I just wanted to read him this one comment. 7 Red Rum says, Bill doesn't give a fuck. Jimmy, he's another Jon Stewart, corporate shill and monkey. And one more comment, this from McBurger. He says, Jimmy Dore plus Kurt Metzger equals the closest thing we have to Bill Hicks if he lived to see this. I thought that was pretty nice.
Oh, that's nice.
Right?
I appreciate it. Thank you.
It's a good comparison. Bill Maher is all these guys that are like, what does he have besides his TV show and knowing famous people? He fired an agent for not getting him into a party.
Not getting him into a party.
A guy much older than me. Like, I couldn't imagine caring if I got to go to the APA, whatever the fuck that was.
It wasn't the Academy Awards?
Yeah, no, it was.
So he's an empty nothing of a man.
So he was with CAA and he didn't get invited to the CAA Academy Award party. And
CIA is one of the most evil.
They're evil.
Woman trafficking and other things, I'm sure. Remember Rose McGowan you had on? And
yes.
They put that whole Me Too bullshit to cover up for how they trafficked women to Harvey Weinstein. Oh, Harvey Weinstein, by the way, hired Israeli security to stalk the actresses.
That's right.
Remember, Bill? He went into Israelis for it. Remember?
That's right.
No, Bill ain't going to remember because he can't be out of the club. He can't even honor a strike with his writers that are the only thing that makes him worthwhile now, right? His new rules that a writer wrote for him. He was going to try to go back on without writers, like Drew Barrymore. Why? Because he's got nothing. That's why. He's got a big house he's alone in. You know?
Yeah.
I'm not fat people, but he's alone except for hookers. What does he have except the show and ego? Nothing. So all these people, he's cool with them dying. All right, well.
Okay, well, that's great.
Great
way to end.
Have a nice week, everybody.
Okay. All right. We'll do a locals on Wednesday and a premium streamium on Friday. How's that?
That sounds great.
Sounds good.
That sounds good.
Something to read?
You've got a new app, and if you want to do it.
Oh, really?
All right, you can look over those, and then you tell me when you're ready. And I'll finish this. I got to say this again. If you could watch The Gilded Age, folks, watch The Gilded Age. It's fascinating. There's so much history that you can't believe.
YouTube PBS documentary, The Gilded Age, right?
Yeah.
YouTube
Yeah.
PBS doc. Okay. It is remarkable
Go, Jimmy.
how it's exactly like today.
You can't, and there was
exactly. People are so sick and tired that their political representatives don't represent them. They know that the Democrats and Republicans are both bought by big business, and they do the bidding of it's exactly the same. And the people who control things and have capital They just don't let you get control, and that's that.
The thing that the thing that you would see them do to the farmers, that they would charge the farmers 50% interest rate on their mortgages.
They would make them take loans. They were all making big money, except for the farmers, and then they would give them. They're basically indentured servants. It's unbelievable, and nothing has changed.
It was pretty crazy because you learn that. Carnegie, he came from Scotland and he came from poverty. He struggled, and then he becomes this huge gazillionaire, and he still exploits everybody.
And he realizes you got to do a monopoly for the railroad to work.
And then you find out that, again, the whole idea that you work 12 hours a day, 6 days a week.
Yes, people working 12 hours a day, 6 days a week.
You're still living poor. Just a nightmare. And it's very educational. You think to yourself, how much don't I know about American history? This is like tapping it. All right. Maybe the only way we escape this failed state is jumping onto a Russian sub and imperialism. Yush, thank you so much. When you invite Colonel McGregor on, be sure to spell his name correctly. It's Scottish, not Irish. Mac, not MC, or he'll turn you down. He needs to call requests some way, so he uses spelling. Oh, well, thank you, Sparky. Yush, thank you so much. Hanneser, thank you so much.
Okay.
Radical Eclectic, thank you very much. Back to Jimmy.
Hey, despite everything the Fed has been trying, we're still feeling the effects of inflation, filling up your car, your grocery shopping, your home repairs, everything pays. Financing, personal gold. Like, oh, we're on it. You can even close. Davenport.
Oh. Hey, Sparky wants you to know.
Hey, come see me do stand-up in Ontario, California, Las Vegas, and Davenport, Iowa. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets. How about that?
That's good. All right. Hey, Sparky wants you to know, Jimmy, that a score is 20. A score is 20. I thought it was too, but thank you, Sparky. I'm going to look into that.
How much is the score?
Oh, just tell us the answer.
Hey, Suri. How many is in a score?
What did she say?
She won't tell us.
Oh, she's an asshole. Malcolm said 20. Hey, it was the U.S. Army Delta Force in the latest slaughter in Gaza. Sparky 63.
Oh, maybe it is 7 years ago. Country sent for. So 4 would be 87. So 18. Hey, Siri, what's 18 minus 87?
Math problems.
Yeah, so it is.
It is 20. Thank you, Sparky. Thank you, Malcolm. The U.S. military doesn't have hypersonics in inventory, but has cutting-edge hypersonic tech and has for decades. They just don't field it. Also, technically, an ICBM nuke is hypersonic missile. Rick, well, thank you for that, Rick.
I'm going to have to look into that.
The Melee Massacre version 2.0 coming up in Gaza. Big screen camera 4, please, as Jimmy makes his way out. Okay, let's see what this one says.
Oh, she hit her necklace.
Yes, I did. I took it off. Eosh. Hey, Eosh, your question is, did Jimmy Dore turn off his super chats like Washington Post? No. Eosh, remember? Well, we don't read the... Oh, you can come back to Steph. Remember, we get so many that I'm not supposed to be reading. We decided that I have to read $5 on up. It's just too much. We get so many. Just so you know, it can be really a lot. So did Jimmy and Ishash, you sound honestly, you sound like your feelings are hurt. You know, because you want Jimmy to somehow. You want Jimmy, what was this one? You say, you misinterpreted my question and you did call out RFK and did many shows on RFK support of Zionists, but you never used the same vitriol on Trump. Stop it! Jeez! God, stop it. Stop. All right. So Jimmy Dore produces the shows. He does a lot of work on the shows. And our team reads the super chats. And we do the best we can. And you know what? Everybody sees it. There is no censoring that happens. Everybody sees your chat when it flies on the screen. So there's no censorship. So you don't have to even make that kind of like accusation. I'm going to say it. It's annoying. It is annoying. So there's, once you have your super chat or your Rumble rant, they're seen. They're already seen. And what we've tried to do here on the Jimmy Dore Show is forever, we've tried to read as many as we can. And our promise has been to read as many as we can. And we've gotten so many, we're very lucky that way, that we had to put a kibosh on reading the $1 ones and the $2 ones and the $3. We just stuck with the 5 and up. It's a lot. It's a lot, just so you know. So thanks so much, Ishush, or Ioshush. Thank you so much. All right. 6th Generation, thank you so much for your generosity. 6th Generation again, thank you for the recommendation. Hannah, sir, thank you, amigo. Hannah, sir, again, grazie, tanto grazie. And Hannah, sir, one more time, thank you. What was this one? Let's hear. We did it. We did as many as we could today, and we do the best we can. And Servilia, I love your style. I love it. You're so funny. And then let's see. I love it when Steph yells at me. I'm not yelling at you. You're so funny. It makes me laugh. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Ender. Love right back at you, Ender. Steph's feathers are ruffled, shahoo. Right? Come on. Oh, wow. Fade01001. Steph's the fucking liar. What's wrong with you? Does somebody need a hug? Somebody sounds like you need a hug. And did you just pop in? Did you change your name or what? There's no way that I can lie about these rants. You see them. We can't, once you buy the rant or whatever, there is no mechanism to control them. So the only thing that we had to do is, because everybody's so generous, that we get overwhelmed by them. All right, that is a wrap. It's almost 6:30, ladies and gentlemen. I got to take my doggy for a walk. We'll be back on Wednesday. And you know what? Why don't you go do something nice for somebody? Adios.
Hey, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down there for more AM Joy and the rest of MSNBC. And click on any of the videos right here to watch the latest interviews and highlights. And you can get more videos from MSNBC for free every day with our newsletter. Just visit
Isn't it swell? The memes make themselves. They found a rabbi hole, tunnels and all. There's Jews in the walls. Isn't it bliss? The rabbinical grace soiling the mattresses. Well, let me tell you. If I were Rabbi Shmuley and diddle 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 digga digga diddle diddle dum, all day long I'd diddle little bums. If I were a Shmuley man, I'd peddle all my dildos, dreidel dildos, selling dildos with my daughter and her mum. If I were a Jewish Shmuley man, I'd be digging with a dildo in my bum. I'd wear a grotesque nose and go grab some goyim right on the nipple with a pinch. A Shabbos lap dance brace for the youngest mensch.
At this time, more than any other time, you know, revolution is necessary. It is necessary. Not only based on what has happened with the MOVE organization, you know, the babies that have been murdered, you know, MOVE adults that have been murdered, bombs being dropped on us, but past that to what is happening with all black people, so-called minority people, you know, money poor people. You know, this government, as has been said earlier, has waged war on us. But you know, something about us, particularly here in America, we don't really understand that. You know, we don't really know what war is. You know, for black people, for poor people, that people see as good, that they wasn't forced to do, that they didn't do to try to keep black people appeased, you know, and calm down so that black people wouldn't riot. A prison situation is a crystallized example of that. You can make phone calls in prison. They have movies in prison, but they don't have those things because they just want to be nice to prisoners. They have those things because they know damn well if they don't have, you know, people being able to contact their family, if they don't have, you know, facilities for people to sit there and watch movies, people are going to be frustrated, upset, and they're going to direct that frustration at them prison administrators, and they're going to have riots on their hands. You know, they're going to have people in them prisons turning them prisons out. That's why they have movies. That's why they have access to phones the way they do. And a stop to it when we don't like it, or encouraging it when it's something that's in our interest. You know, we have to call the shots. The people have to take the reins of this system and start dictating, you know, what we need, what needs to be done. And, you know, taking the initiative to do it ourselves. We can't rely on this system. I mean, you know, don't people see what's happening? Every single confrontation that MOVE people have been involved in, every single issue, you know, oppression, economic issues, every single issue facing our people, you know, is something that can be dealt with very, very simply. All people got to do is make their wishes known. All people have to do is stand up and say, listen, we're not accepting that. Unity is the key. Unity is the key to revolution. Revolution ain't nothing to be afraid of. It ain't nothing to shy away from. Revolution, contrary to what officials, you know, this system and those backing the officials running this system, you know, want people to believe that revolution means violence, you know, means blood in the street. I'm saying it can get to that point, but it don't have to be violent. You know, when people come together and take a strong stand on an issue, this government don't have no choice but to listen. Where you think they get their authority from? They don't have no power, but they do have authority to do certain things. Where you think they get it from? They get it from us, from the people. You know, they get it from us accepting the things that they do to be done to stop it. Then you have some people who want to then turn around and say, yeah, well, you know, it's the best we have, and want to make excuses. The time for excuses is over. It's over. You know, every man, woman, and child has to be involved in this revolution. Not only has to be, but is, whether you want to be or not. I mean, our babies gave their lives for this revolution on May 13th. You know, men, women, and children were murdered. And not just babies, you know. What about all of the young men, women, you know, children 8, 9 years old shot down on the street by cops, you know, by drug pushers? I mean, you know, where do you think that mentality comes from? It comes from this system, from the mentality of this system of getting over, you know, making a quick buck, you know. I'm saying that's where that needs to be done to stop it. Then, you know, what I want people to really, really understand is that it's past time. It is past time for poor people, black people, you know, to realize that this system has failed you. It has failed you. You can't get nothing from it. And what people got to do is withdraw our support from it and start doing for ourselves. That's what we got to do. You know, how long are people going to sit back and beg, you know, this government to do what's right when for hundreds of years all you've gotten is a slap in the face? All you've gotten is this government kicking your ass. That's all. That's all black people have ever gotten from this government.